This is 142.2, The Kingdom.
And once again, the Lombardi Trophy has a red and gold reflection. You can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs. You can disrespect the Chiefs. You're gonna have to deal with the Kansas City Chiefs.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 142.2 The Kingdom. Hello, everybody on X, on YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Dominic's not here tonight, so I'm filling in for him, running the show this evening. Of course, you've got Corey, we've got DG, and we've got Trizzy here today. Well, fellas, we're 2-3, unfortunately, after what I can only describe as a very unfortunate second half collapse in Jacksonville. Unfortunately, took the loss 31-28, and it did not look pretty towards the end, if I'm being completely honest. So, first off, how are we feeling today? And just initial thoughts before we kind of get into it section by section here.
I'm not on that side of the fan base where it's just like I'm distraught. It's like, damn, we lost. Like, it sucks when obviously you're on a second wave of the scoreboard and things didn't always go your way. I just thought that we did a lot of self harm to ourselves, to the game in general. A team that averages 7.6 yards per play. And people telling me how good this Jacksonville defense is, bullshit. You're not giving up 7.6 yards a play, and you're just this ultimate defense. Outside of the pick six, which was an outstanding play by Devin Lloyd, by the way. That's gonna go in his wall and his dictionary in the regular season. Hopefully, I hope we play them again in the playoffs so we can kick their ass with Rasheed Rice. But just going off of that game, man, what I seen from the offense and Patrick Mahomes was very, very encouraging. I thought the defense was top notch until about the third quarter. We made some stops. The only thing that are really concerned, and probably the concerns that we probably all have, I will pick up from that game, is just trying to get home with 4. I don't understand that part. And then also, Jalen Watson, if you're watching this, I love you, guy. You have a Chiefs jersey on, I love you. But let me tell you something. Shamari Connor, you watching this? Get off of the team. You can't turn your head around in coverage. That's unacceptable. You can't turn your head around while sprinting on an NFL field. That's unacceptable. 3 times, not once, not twice. 3 times you did that. And every time he did that, they scored a touchdown. The pick six is horrible. You shut that out. Trent McDuffie got the pick the next drive. We go in and tie it up. Get a stop. They kick a field goal. Boom. We get the ball down. 142 left. Pat, go put it in the end zone. It's 142 on the clock. Defense go make a play.
Can I add another
pass interference is just like, I get it. It's a pass interference. I don't want to hear the Chiefs get all the calls anymore. I don't want to hear that. I don't want that to be the narrative anymore. They got 12 penalties, 6 of them in the fourth quarter.
13.
I don't want to hear that anymore.
Can I add another one to the?
Yeah, we'll get to that, Trizzy. Don't worry. But yeah.
I want to add somebody else to the find your own plane ticket back home list, and that's Jack Cochran.
He sucks.
We'll get to him too. Don't worry.
Yeah, man. You know how Nate Taylor and them have only weird games? The Chiefs should have a show called "The Only Weirdest Ways to Lose,"
Man,
because
they should have made that 65 horsepower trap. Should have made that the series title instead of the Kingdom. It should have been.
They need to have like a whole YouTube full of clips of just in the Mahomes era of the weirdest ways they have lost.
That's up there with 51-48. No, that's up there with that game.
That whole game was weird.
That's up there with Ryan Tannehill throwing a deflected ball to himself and running it in for a touchdown.
No, that was worse. That was Marcus Mariota.
That was
Mariota,
Mariota.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there with that. It's up there with the like
The Raiders Christmas game, like
Only
up
weird
there.
way.
That-
Bro, the
yeah.
Chiefs,
That
look,
game.
listen, man.
Yeah, that game reminded me of the Colts playoff loss, where we had that game in the bag. Andrew Luck was in hell trying to take care of this defense, and just all of a sudden it ends in the worst way possible. Also within the 5-yard line, where they fumble the ball, he gets the ball back, and he still scores the touchdown that winds up being the game winner. And then in this game, Trevor Lawrence falls down not once, but twice. Nobody gets a hand on him, and he still scores the touchdown.
And Chris Jones is in the back.
I'm going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Don't worry. I'm going to start with the positives first. We're going to start with the offense.
But all bias stuff aside, I really love Trevor Lawrence's mindset in that game. He didn't play that extremely well, but he gave his guys opportunities. I will say that. Like he was not shying away from the Chiefs in general and just the overall like bearing. Even like if you look at that game from the national TV standpoint, it was a lot of Chiefs fans in there. Like, and I know it's his birthday.
That was almost a home game.
Yeah, like there's a lot of Chiefs fans there. So for Trevor Lawrence to actually get out there and, the funny thing is, like, Trevor Lawrence did everything he could to lose the game and still got up and found a way to win. So I'll take my hat off to that point, but we dominated the Jaguars. There's no way that we lose that game. Like, it's almost like, it was like, one of those things where I'm doing what DG is doing after the game. I looked at the game. Patrick Mahomes over 300 yards, 60 yards rushing. The defense 14-0. Nick Bolton dropped that easy interception. We can't tackle nobody after getting up from stumbling and falling. It's not our game.
We'll get to that. We're gonna get to the defense. Don't worry. But I feel like we gotta get the positives out of the way. The offense. We'll start there, because if there was one unit that did do their job by and large, it was the offense.
That's unfair to say the defense didn't do their job. I just felt like
I have to look at it. I have to look at it for me personally in the context of the entire game, because with the exception of the pick six and the one drive before the end of the first half, by and large, the offense did their job. Like they moved down the field for our best offensive output of the season, in second most points, most yards. The offensive line probably played the best game cohesively as a unit that they've played in the last year and a half. It was, by and large, everybody did the things I wanted to see them improve on. From the offensive line perspective, the run blocking was better. The running backs were better. The Pat had all day in the pocket to throw. He was not really pressured that much. Josh Simmons was great. Kingsley was great. That's everything we've wanted to see.
Fair, but when is the last time that the offense have been consistent? It's always been the defense. The last 2 or 3 years in this team, the defense has made plays for us to be outside of the playoffs. The defense has made those plays for us to win the game. And so I'm not going to take away nothing from the defense. Obviously, the second half was disappointing, but it's unfair to say that they didn't do their job the whole game. I don't know about that part.
I wouldn't say the whole game, but if I had to rank it, special teams did not do their job.
Special teams,
defense did not do their job in the second half.
I agree,
especially with the offense doing exactly what they needed to do in the second half. They tied the game up after the Jaguars took the lead, and then they salted away the majority of the time left in the fourth quarter with a textbook 6.5-minute drive to lead them with almost no time left. Put the defense in a great position. Like I said, the run game, when it was used, was great. The play calling was mostly there. Again, the drive preceding halftime and the drive immediately coming out of halftime were not great, but coming out of the half, the Jaguars made good adjustments.
I don't hate that play call. Josh Allen he was disciplined. Like they were pushing the ball up the field the whole night. They were trying to get
Second and
Worthy the
third down.
ball.
Yeah,
And if
second
and
and
if
third down is what I
and
had
if he doesn't make that play, Xavier Worthy scores on that play. It's
Yeah,
a
he's
great
out the
play
gate.
call. It's a great play call. I don't dislike the play call. I dislike the execution. I dislike not having some type of more conflict with Josh Allen Hines in that situation, because what they were trying to do was get up the field quick. It's 2 minutes left. We already up 14. Let's go try to put some more points on the board. But when you leave him on block and you leaving a great player to make a great play, sometimes they make it, and that's what happened. I don't hate the play call because Josh Simmons is supposed to let that guy go, get up to the second level, and make him make a decision. He's either going to flow inside with that run fake or he's going to stay disciplined. He stayed disciplined, and we paid for it. But it's a great play call, in my opinion, because if you really look at the play, Josh Simmons goes up to the second level. We got the corner taken care of. We got the linebacker taken care of. He's going up to the safety. And you're depending on 4.2 speed to get up the field, which he has no problem with doing that. So I don't dislike the play call. He made a great play. Like the same thing with the Devin Lloyd pick. I don't think we should have passed the ball there. I think we got a little bit too pass happy. But that's it comes. It's these mistakes are fixable. 12 penalties in a game. We haven't done that since
We
Rams.
played the Jaguars last.
No,
I will say this: when Rashee Rice gets back, if Thornton still does not get a lot of playing time, then it's criminal.
he's gonna play. He's
He's turned into a dynamic piece of this offense.
I think he's given himself a role. He's taken a role for himself in his offense that's going to be extremely hard to justify not keeping him out there moving forward. I think even with Xavier Worthy back, you see what Xavier Worthy's doing.
The last few games, he's been better than Juju and Hollywood.
I'm sorry. I'm tired of Hollywood Brown. How do you not turn your head around at the end of the game? If he turns his head around and just looks at Pat when he's trying to throw that ball earlier up the seam when we need 3 points to tie the game, he might take that bitch to the house.
So, yeah. And now my thing with that play in particular, and DG, I'd be curious about your thoughts on this too. But I think Pat looked at the time on the clock and may have rushed that throw just a tiny bit. I think because it was a 3-man rush, 8 in coverage, Hollywood Brown has the safety already beat before he even turns his head around. And if Pat just waits a beat longer, because that rush is not getting there. He has all day to throw that ball. I know that there's not a lot of time left on the clock. But if he waits a beat longer, he's got an angle on the safety and he's got angles on everybody else. I don't think they're catching him. I think he gets halfway back to Kansas City before they catch him. That's how bad their angles were.
Oh, Karen, yeah. Well, I think especially the last drive, man, Jack Cochran just killed that whole operation. From that point forward, I don't think anything was going to go right after that, especially because you got a good return out of Rashard Smith. I think you got out to like the almost the 35 or something like that. 20, 23 seconds, and you got all 3 timeouts. You've seen Pat do a lot more with a lot less.
Yes. I'll be honest. I almost wish Brashard just fair caught it, but that is what it is.
But I mean, at that point, you gotta applaud him because you need the field position at that point.
Yes.
But Jack Cochran just kills everything, and then it imploded from there.
And DG, he killed it for no reason.
Not at all.
Oh, the return units were just absolutely awful all game. Between whatever the heck they're trying to have Harrison Butker do on these kickoffs, I put that as much on Dave Tobe as I do on Harrison Butker, because y'all should have had this figured out already. Like we're about to be in week 6, and you've had all off season plus preseason plus 5 regular season games now to figure this out, and you still haven't figured it out. That makes absolutely zero sense to me. When you've had this much time and you've known it was coming.
We figured it out. Jock Cochran said it's about me today.
Well, yeah, and secondly, the coverage unit is terrible. They don't know how to get off blocks. They absolutely do not know how to get off blocks to stop returners, and they don't know how to stop holding when our guys are returning the ball.
Did the Jaguars have a big return? What are you talking about?
Yes, they started. It felt like the 35, 40-yard line, like every return.
That was one time.
Well, here's I'll say this is a big issue, man. It's the end of the game. Well, minute 45 left, and your highest paid kicker in the league decides to be a bonehead and kick the ball out of bounds and give them half a field. Don't even allow them to return it at that point in time. You know, I would have rather you kick it in the landing zone, allow them return it, run some time off the clock or whatever, and at least get your defense out there. Maybe if they do return to the 40, then so be it. They get it at the 40, but at least you run some time off the clock. Harrison Butker just literally obliterated everything the defense could have done at that point, which is giving them literally a half a field to go. And as soon as he kicked it out of bounds, I had this eerie feeling that the Jags were going to go score, just because that you just flipped all momentum back into their favor, pretty much. Now we only got half a field to work with. It's a minute 45. We got 2 timeouts or whatever, and we don't even have to drive the length of the field. So
yeah, so they averaged terrible. They averaged 30 yards per kick return.
The other thing that I didn't like is the way we played on defense the final drive, like the whole scheme. They either had 1 or no timeouts left, and we gave them everything deep. Like we should have played a little bit more of that prevent, another person back to cover those deep balls on the sideline, because when it got down to that point, they would have had 0 time left if they would have caught a ball inbounds. A couple short plays, the clock is run out. Those 2 big plays on the sideline put them in that position to score. They only ran about 15 seconds off the clock for 60 yards.
Can I comment? 2 seconds. 2 things.
Yeah, because we're about to go to the defense. So if this is about
Jalen Watt, let's go to defense. Because
Jalen Watson, the offense was fine.
The crown of who's so heavy to wear the crown deserves the criticism. I'm no Jalen Watson. I don't know if I can get out there and cover receiver. I'm not saying that I can do that. But you, sir, have the sideline as another defender. Why are you jumping early? Okay? It's 3rd and 13. Why are we pressed up on 3rd and 13? That does not make any sense to me.
I will say
Noah Williams played 4 snaps. 4 snaps.
So they showed another angle of that. He was actually in perfect position to make a play. Brian Thomas Jr. got that arm out just in time to reach out. And that's why if you watch it, they showed a down the sideline angle. He jumps, and as he jumps, he's getting forced forward and tries to reach back. He got away with an offensive pass interference there that I didn't even see from the regular views. But from the sideline view, clear as day, Brian Thomas Jr., as soon as he jumped, pushed off and jumped and caught it. So on that one, that sideline official had a perfect view. His arm was completely extended. You can't make a play on that when somebody pushes you away from the ball.
You can if you use the sideline as a defender.
So,
and if you're going to jam him to the sideline, you need to put the sideline as a defender and put him out of bounds. You can't give him room to catch that on 3rd and 13. That's unexcusable.
But yeah, I'm going to push back on that, Corey, simply because he's in trail technique to the inside from the snap, which is already a terrible position to be in for a guy like Brian Thomas Jr., who you're trying to cover. I get you're trying to defend the deep pass, but you allow yourself to get into trail technique immediately when you're pressed up on 3rd and 13, which is already bad. And then you jump early to allow yourself to get pushed off on the play. Yes, could it have been called offensive pass interference? Sure, absolutely. He extended his arm and you see contact with him, but it's after he's already jumped too early to try to defend the pass. But you're jumping from inside to try to defend a pass that's going past your outside shoulder to a guy who you've already allowed to get leverage on you. You're never winning that. You're not going to win that even if you time your jump perfectly, because you've already given up your outside shoulder to the receiver, who is taller than you as well, by the way. So I agree that they probably missed one. But at that point, you've already gotten beat. You're not going to get a call there. Like, I wouldn't expect to get a call there when the receiver has already beaten me off the snap and I'm fighting just to catch up. And then I mistime my jump to try to break up a pass. I have no hope of breaking up. So that, from that perspective, is bad. And then my second issue, mostly with the defense, is exactly what a part of what Trizzy brought up. Firstly, before I get to Noah Williams only playing 4 snaps, why is Chamari Connor still playing 100% of the snaps in 2025 on my defense? Why in what he has missed out of, I believe it's 305 defensive snaps that the defense has played through 5 games. Chamari Connor has missed 1 of those snaps all season. 1. The next person, Trent McDuffie, has missed 2 of those snaps. He has played the most defense out of every defensive player through 5 games, and I don't know why. I don't understand when you have 2 guys who can play slot in Christian Roland Wallace and another guy who can play outside to put Trent McDuffie in the slot instead in Noah Williams, and you don't play either of them in both in week 1 and in week 5. You play them in weeks 2, 3, and 4, and good things happen. But then you don't play either of them in week 5, and this defense looks awful, in part because they realize, oh, hey, Chamari Connor's out there. We can have a thought of throwing in his direction, and it's going to be completed for a pass because he can't cover. He cannot cover people from the slot. He is a safety. He is not a corner. He's also a deep safety, not a box safety anymore, because he doesn't have the speed to cover people close to the line of scrimmage anymore. I don't know what's happened to him. He hasn't gotten hurt that I know of that I remember or recall in recent years. He just doesn't have any speed to cover anybody. He apparently doesn't have the instincts to tackle anymore because his tackling has been atrocious through 5 weeks. And it's destroying this entire secondary because I feel like Brian Cook has to try and cover for him, and he's out of position now trying to make some plays. Or Trent McDuffie is trying to come off and make plays because this guy's giving up leverage and positioning on every receiver he is happening to line up across. And and you know where he was on that play? The single high safety. We were in single high, and the safety you have out there is not Brian Cook. It's Chamari Connor. Spags, I love you. I appreciate everything you've done for this organization over the years. But I need you to help me understand. I need you to help me begin to comprehend. What are we doing here?
I mean, the only thing that beats us on that final drive is chunk plays. And we allowed 2 of them by running a 1 high, and you've got the safety trying to run all the way across the field on a moon ball that just drops in the bucket to Brian Thomas Jr. if we played any type of sideline and prevent defense to make them throw it 10, 15 yards over the middle to run the clock out, the safety makes a play on that ball. If not, knocks it out or picks it off. I don't get when the only thing that could have beat us was chunk plays. They had, tell me if I'm right, to start the drive like a minute left with one timeout.
They had 2 timeouts in a minute 45, and they got 2 chunk plays in less than a minute.
Yeah.
And didn't use either timeout.
I thought
they had to burn those timeouts in the red zone.
I thought
that was
like a minute.
That's how bad it was. That was how bad the defense was in that moment. Was they didn't even have to use either of their timeouts to get into the red zone. They had to use them after they got into the red zone.
The only thing
I don't understand. And you took Brian Cook off the field. Brian Cook wasn't even on the field for that third down play.
Was Hicks there?
No, at least not to my knowledge. I don't believe he was. We were in single high, and he was Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson was obviously out there because he was covering Brian Thomas Jr. If Jaden Hicks was out there, he was asked to cover an underneath route that Trevor Lawrence wasn't even looking for. So I don't understand why Spags keeps doing this, because he's done this in the past with players before that he just puts out there that aren't producing. And worst part is this, I can't even say this is another like Daniel Sorensen situation, because at the very least Daniel Sorensen was giving you a splash play here and there before they ultimately decided to bench him 5 weeks into the season, where they benched him. What has Jamari Conner done in 5 weeks that has shown you that he still deserves to get 50% of the snaps, let alone 100% of the snaps? I don't get it.
Yeah. Very frustrating. I mean, definitely points are being made. Well, I'm not Spags. You know, he knows that defense front back. He made a decision to play to play Shamari over Noah for whatever reason. Maybe he's from Florida. I'm not sure, but it definitely sucks. You know, when you can't execute at the end of the game and make those plays that we need to make. But moving forward, I just don't think that this team will have 12 penalties with 4 defensive pass interferences. A couple of those were questionable in my opinion, but that's stuff that Andy Reid is going to fix and coach out of the team. Chris Jones at the end of the game, I can understand why he.
Look, the Chris Jones thing, I get it. I get where people are coming from. Do I think people are beating a dead horse at this point by belaboring the point? Yes. However, I get it. For me, it's the principle of the thing. First off, you're a captain of the team, so you're set to a higher standard than everybody else. Secondly, you're the highest paid defender on the team. In fact, you're the second highest. Well, we're one of the top 5 highest paid on the team overall, let alone the defense.
I still blame.
This is not the first, and finally, this is not the first time it's happened either. Just this season.
As much as I want to yell at CJ, I blame this on Spags too. If we had any type of other D-line presence, we could rotate him out and get him breaks throughout the game. But our D-line depth is so bad that we rely on him playing almost every snap, and
they're trying.
He has no help.
Yeah. I mean, he's not playing 100% of the snaps, and they're finding times to take him out of the game. But the talent is not rising to the occasion. That's especially on the defensive line right now. A lot of undisciplined, unforced errors, which is, and mostly on the defense. The offense, again, was largely penalty free. The one procedural penalty that got called was on Tyquan Thornton, not Juwan Taylor. So, for not lining up correctly. So, again, the offensive line largely did their jobs. The offense was not the source of the penalties. It was most of the defense. And that is, again, atypical of a Spags coach team, just like in week 1. guys weren't making plays. Guys are making undisciplined mistakes, and look anything like the defense that we saw in weeks 2, 3, and 4. And it's the usual suspects, which is not great. So
I'm gonna say this, and all the beach lovers are gonna crucify me. We've got too much money and too many first, second, and third round picks on that D line for this little production.
yeah, I would agree. And they need to stay off social media too, which shout out to Chris Jones for understanding that. Charles Omenihu, I don't know what the heck you're celebrating your first sack of the season 5 weeks into the year. Like that I'm supposed to be glad and impressed. But buddy, I need more from every single one of you because this is not working so far. We're not getting enough consistent pressure. I know that the numbers will tell you that Trevor Lawrence was pressured on over 50% of his dropbacks. That does not move me because what did you do with that 50% pressure rate?
We gave up
a coverage sack,
rush lane integrity.
Yeah, and you gave up rush lane integrity all game. You stopped Travis Etienne. Great, that's exactly what I wanted you to do. And you only got 2 sacks out of it, I believe. One was a coverage sack for Charles Omenihu, and one that he just fell down at the end of the half because nothing was open.
Yeah, and I'm going to say somebody else under the bus while I'm at it. George Karlaftis, even though you got the stats, 3/4 of your stats are CJ running a quarterback right into your lane and you just happen to grab onto him. But besides those plays, he is a non-factor at all whatsoever. He's not beating one-on-ones. With CJ there being a first-round pick, you got to be able to handle one-on-ones and be able to beat them. He's not. Just point blank. He's got the sacks, he's got the numbers, but a lot of those are compliments of somebody else running the quarterback right into him. I pointed out the one game he had 2 sacks. Both of them were the quarterback scrambling right into him.
Yeah, and they're just not getting enough pressure for me that is translating to sacks. We're not getting enough consistent pressure that's allowing us to get to these quarterbacks. It's all slow pressure. And their rush lane integrity, for as great as they did just a week ago in keeping Lamar Jackson in check for 4 quarters, they absolutely gave Trevor Lawrence an engraved invitation to run all over them on Monday night. Prior to that game, Trevor Lawrence had 15 rushes on the season for 32 yards in 4 games. That is not counting sack yardage. Those are his rushing. That is his rushing numbers in 4 games. He almost tripled his yardage. Just from that.
I don't want to turn this into a roasting the defense type of thing. The defense has been great outside of the second half of the Jags game, and it's really not even the fact that it was like missed assignments. It was just shooting ourselves in the foot, giving up the DPIs. I understand if you're gonna live and die by one thing, and you don't want outside of the BTJ catch at the end of the game, the receivers really didn't do much. It took an incredible catch from Travis Hunter. A couple of catches, like they did not put out. I'm not gonna sit here and crucify them for one game. If that happens for a longevity of the season, only thing I would say will probably be the biggest concern right now is maybe rushing 4 and not getting home. But other than that, excuse me. The defense has done their job, and especially in the first half, we just have to put away games. We have to play situational football better on the defensive side right now. I would not say that just as an overall, like I just don't like as a Chiefs fan at heart. Yeah, those guys had a tough night in the second half. Some things didn't go their way. Calls didn't go their way, but they've been doing their job, especially in the run game. We've been making it obvious for making it for him to have to run. That means it has to be a pass situation. We've been earning the right to get there, right? So I'm not all the way disappointed in the defense. I felt like I don't agree with some of those calls at the end of the game, but I feel like if we execute on that 3rd and 13 and we gave up that long pass, that was just a momentum killer right there. You know, it's 3rd and 13, our backs against the wall. That's when we supposed to blitz. For us not to blitz and depend on those guys to get home and try to press up, I just thought that was on Spags all the way. Go cover zero when you already know that Samari Connor's giving up two already. He's already given up two DPIs already. Let's be smart about where we are, about the situation. Let's be a little bit better and fill it out. I'm not putting all that pressure on those guys, especially after we've had those DPIs and we had those unfortunate situations not go our way, and we're on the road. We have to do a better job at adjusting and making championship plays, and that's what this team is all about. And sure, they didn't make them that night, and Trevor Lawrence, what's the odds of Trevor Lawrence not being able to? What's the odds of Trevor Lawrence like making that play and getting up off the ground and falling twice? That never happens. It's just one of those things that night didn't go our way at the end. But to sit up here and act like the defense haven't done their job all game is definitely wrong. The offense has just now came to fruition. The offense is just now looking like we thought the offense would look, despite not having Rasheed Rice, which is big. So all
The offense can get the smoke too. I was getting ready to get to that.
yeah. All things
Andy
moving
Reid's got to be
forward.
more aggressive early in the game. 4th and 1 at the 50-yard line, you don't go for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
come
mean,
on, you got to go for that.
Yeah,
You got Patrick Mahomes, and then you don't run the ball 1st and goal at the 2-yard line. And after you throw the pick six, Kareem Hunt walks into the end zone on two identical plays untouched. You have to know the defense you're playing against, and the Jaguars defense just got absolutely roasted by a running back. What, a week ago, 2 weeks ago? You get a chunk play from Isaiah Pacheco, and then he goes out and doesn't touch the ball for 4 snaps. You get a 30-yard run by Kareem Hunt, and then he doesn't touch the ball again for another quarter. We've always said the running backs aren't gaining yards, so why are we using them? Why aren't we using them? The running backs are gaining chunk yardage, and you still don't use them. Like, you get Andy Reid's got to get out of his own way, trying to be too cute in goal line situations. We've had that issue for years, is him trying to get too cute in the red zone instead of just playing fundamental football and pounding the ball in.
yeah, I mean, if you go back and look at that play, I don't know why he didn't get that ball to Travis Kelsey. I get it. He maybe didn't see the guy coming in, but that's a Travis. Maybe because he dropped it in Philly, and that's the same type of route that he got open on in Philly, just literally the same play. So I can understand that, but I would have loved, even if we do throw, I'll have no problem with. But if the ball is in Patrick Mahomes' hands, we live and die by that. And for the most part, 89% of the time we've lived by Patrick Mahomes making those plays on the goal line, whether we run or not, whether we have the threat to pass or run or not. I thought it was a great play call. I just thought that Patrick Mahomes just didn't give it to the guy who was supposed to get it. And I love Juju, but if you're taking Juju or Travis Kelsey in the red zone, I'm sorry. I'm targeting Travis Kelsey all day, night long. He was still drifting apart. I paused it. I watched that play over and over about 10 times. Travis Kelsey was probably supposed to get that ball. He didn't see Devin Lloyd coming. He thought he had an easy touchdown. He took it away, made a play. Hell of a play by Devin Lloyd, not taking that away from him. But in hindsight, again, I'm not mad at the play calling. I'm mad at where Pat decided to throw the ball at. Even though we did have success running the ball, we also had times where they stuffed us. And I felt like with those guys creeping over the line like that, that was one of the times, 9 times out of 10, Patrick Mahomes sees that the tomfoolery and he's able to make an adjustment. That time he just got tricked, and it cost us 6 points, which that was his first time ever getting picked sixth in the red zone. So for that stuff to happen, it's just like stuff that usually never happens. So again, I'm not mad at the play calling. I'm not mad at the fact that we tried to do that. I'm just mad that we didn't give it to the right person in that moment, which should have been Travis Kelsey. He's still streaming over the top for that. He got to make a play at his legs. It's a touchdown. If you want to say we could run the ball, that's fine. I agree with that as well. I'm not taking nothing away from that take. I agree with you absolutely 100%. But I'm just mad at where he threw the ball at, and instead of the play call being to throw or run. I'm comfortable with what Andy Reid did. Andy Reid was on fire all night outside of that. Even after the pick six, we went on like a 5 minute drive, just doing whatever we wanted to do the whole night. So I'm not mad at the play calling. I don't think he got too cute. I just thought Patrick Mahomes forced to throw in a window he shouldn't have forced it in. And you know that you live and die by that. And that day, even though you can say that the pick six changed the game, we also missed a field goal. We also didn't get our hands on an easy tip up, like playing 500 interception that would have gave us the ball back up 14 to nothing. The end of the drive in the second half, when we did get the ball back, we didn't execute and run that play like we should have, and maybe giving Josh Allen a little bit more, giving him a little bit more uncomfortability to make that play. Instead, we let him read it, and now we're second and 16 instead of first and 10, or instead of a touchdown run from Xavier Worthy. So it's just the little things that they need to fix. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I don't think like it's the end of the world. I was really, really, really encouraged by what they did with a good Jaguars team, who's played some tough games and won some good games and made some big plays. And so I'm not all the way upset. I just thought things could have gone our way that didn't. And I think it's a lot of positive things to pick up from what they did on that field on Monday night. And even though the Jags weren't the better team that night, they just found a way to make plays at the end of the game that we didn't make. I thought we dominated the game, and up until that like second half, with the defense having those struggles with Trevor Lawrence. But if you don't get bailed out by the DPI calls, I mean, we blow them out at home on Monday night. So it's just a little things that we need to adjust as a team. I was really encouraged about what I've seen, as far as continuity wise. Obviously, Chris Jones wishes he could have had that back. We thought that was a sack all night, day, night long. Trevor Lawrence got up, broke the tackle. Justin Tillery bumped into Drew Tranquil, wasn't able to make it. Just stuff didn't go our way that night. And for stuff to happen like that, for us to have to lose the game, I just think is unrealistic as far as a longevity wise. 12 penalties, not being able to capitalize on the interception, the jet sweep call. Like, it's so many things that did not go our way, and it still came down to the final seconds of the game. So, for those guys to go out there, execute. Shout out to the Jags. They haven't beat us since 2009. So maybe it was just our time that night. And from the stuff that was happening, you could just tell, like the DPIs, the mishandling of some of the situational stuff. Like, I just, I'm not mad at at disappointed at the guys. I know that we're going to be better moving forward, and we have to be Sunday night against a good Lions offense. That defense is going to be missing a few pieces. So I think we'll be able to take advantage of that. I've seen some encouraging things from Brashard Smith. I really like his hands on the ball in space. I think he's going to make some noise. I think I'm not Spags. I think Andy Reid, and Matt Nagy are going to find ways to get him more snaps and get him the ball more. I just think he's a freak athlete in space who has a ton of wiggle, something that we've been looking for in this offense for a long time. And then, you just have to fight one more game and find a way to beat a good Lions team. And then you get Rasheed Rice back with a lighter schedule on the back half, and a couple of weeks away from a bye week. So I'm encouraged about what I've seen from this Chiefs team, especially offensively. Defensively, I thought we were excellent probably up into that second half. There were a few questionable calls from Spags. I thought he put us in some tough situations with not having our guys out there, with Noah Williams having the 4 snaps is very questionable. I've been very critical about that. But other than that, I still think this team is very good, and I think that they can make a lot of noise moving forward. It's just simple things that they need to clean up, and I think we have the coaching staff, to make those things and those little adjustments happen. So I'm encouraged about the performance. I do think there's some things that we could have did better, but moving forward, I just think that we need to execute in those certain situations on those third and 13s. Let's send the house. If we're gonna go cover zero, let's make sure we get home and make sure we make some noise on Trevor Lawrence. Not make that throw so easy, right? But other than that, I was very, very, very encouraged from what I've seen from that Chiefs team. And I think moving forward, we'll be better for it because this is not something you want to see in January. It's something you want to be able to fix in October, November, December, leading up to those games. You want to be able to hit your best ball in December, January, so we have a chance to compete, for a Super Bowl or be a chance to contend in that AFC Championship game. So I think there's little things that we need to fix. Omar Norman Law didn't play. He's been excellent. Noah Williams only got 4 snaps. He's been excellent. So not putting a lot on those young guys' plates earlier on, but I think moving forward we'll see a little bit more from those guys, and I think the Chiefs will benefit from that.
I will give you a little bit of pushback on that. Yes, I think it's stuff we can fix. Yes, I still think we're a Super Bowl caliber team. But if you remember, I think it was last year, 2 years ago, by the end of the season, Cincinnati was the best team in football on paper, but they were so far down from their early season loss they couldn't catch back up. That's what I'm worried about. We've cut our margin of error so thin that we can't afford to lose more than Buffalo and maybe one other game. And Buffalo, Lions, if we drop those, Buffalo usually always opens their book against us and win by some weird play. Tomorrow or this weekend, Sunday's going to be a hard game. That's 5 losses right there. I don't think we can afford more than one more loss, if that, and win the division still.
Yeah, the division is something that they're going to have to be cognizant of. They're going to have to win their division. They have to win the rest of their division games. Really, to win the division. I don't think 4-2 in the division is going to cut it. They're going to have to win both Broncos games. They're going to obviously have to win both Raiders games to have a chance at the division, just because of where they're at with losses right now. Yeah, I don't think the season's not in doubt. But I think this game it would behoove them to win, because 3-3 is a much better place to get Rashee Rice back while still having some urgency than 2-4 with basically no margin for error moving forward going into a lot of division games coming up. I think if you can still lose to Buffalo and figure out the rest of the season. That task becomes a lot harder, in my opinion, if you lose to Detroit and Buffalo and try to figure out the rest of the season. That feels like at that point you are a wild card team, and you're hoping that the Chargers find a way to keep losing games like they have the last couple of weeks. Joe Alt is coming back for that team. Amarian Hampton, yes, he's going to be out for a while, but he's going to be coming back. You need to control what you can. You can't control what's going to happen with them besides one more game against them. You need to control what you can control, and that starts this week at the Lions. That's a depleted secondary. Their linebackers are solid. Their defensive line has picked up around Aiden Hutchinson. So the offensive line is going to have another test in front of them with this front seven. But the secondary is gettable. They're going to give up plays. Their projected starting cornerbacks are going to be Amik Robertson and Castaways at this point. So there is margin for error that they have to capitalize on. They have to get there. So I agree with Trizzy. It's the little things. The little things can be fixed, but I need to, again, like when we start 0-2, I need to see it. So with that being said, it's on to Detroit for Sunday Night Football. Appreciate you guys coming in. Thank you guys, all of you guys watching on X, on YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Guys got to turn it around, so we'll see if we can get back to 500. And then Rashee Rice comes back, and then things are starting to look really good on offense, especially if they keep doing what they're doing. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Corey, Trizzy, appreciate it. Any final words before we get out of here?
No, I'm just encouraged about what I've seen. Obviously we're playing a great Lions team. They're going to be missing a few guys on defense. Obviously that offense is, just tough to deal with. Jared Goff has been on the heater. Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Jamison Williams. Obviously Jameer Gibbs and Montgomery, the 1-2 punch. So we're going to have to come with it on Sunday night. But all things considered, I'm encouraged about where this Chiefs team's in. I think the effort will be better, and I actually think that we win in convincing fashion on Sunday night. I think that we have the guys in the locker room. I think Patrick Mahomes is playing great, and I, I respect Dan Campbell a lot, but I just don't think that lines. I mean, I'm not trying to criticize their opponents, but they've played the Browns, they played um, the Bears.
They
Who
played
else
the
have they?
Packers and lost.
They lost to the Packers in convincing fashion. And to me, like, it's not the end of the world playing against that offense. The offense is going to have to be on the heater. I think we can find ways to make it difficult for them, and I think that we can attack them defensively. I've loved what I've seen from Josh Simmons. That kid is really locked in right now. He's allowing Pat to be Pat. So if we can continue just being great situationally with the play calling, I thought was great. We just need to continue on that heater. And I'm encouraged going into this Lions game. Our back's against the wall. And that's when that's when this team responds the best. When their back's against the wall, when all the odds are against them, they find ways to make stuff happen. So I'm excited about the opportunity to go in on Sunday night in front of the world, get to 3-3, get Rasheed Rice back against the Raiders. Very encouraging moving forward. So we just got to find a way to win on Sunday night, and I have no doubt about the team.
Corey, you got anything?
I would say I still like our chances against the defense. I think the offense is showing enough glimpses to where I think they start to put it together against that Lions defense. The two things that concern me is seeing Connor play 100% of snaps against Amon-Ra St. Brown. McDuffie's a little bit of a smaller corner, so I don't know if we'll have him traveling with St. Brown all game or have him on the speedster Jamison Williams. But either one, Connor on Williams or Amon-Ra St. Brown, if he plays 100% of snaps, it's scary to me. So that's really the only concern. I'd love to see more Noah Williams. I think if we see more Noah Williams, him and McDuffie together, and Roland Wallace too on the backside. Anytime I see him play, something good happens. He tips the ball, bats the ball down, gets an interception. I don't know what it is about him not playing either over some of the people that we've seen out there. But like I said, Spags knows the personnel. I see what I see on the field. So that just left questions for me. But, I mean, I still got a good feeling going into the game. And I think Andy and this team knows that, hey, we can't go in and play passive. We got to play aggressive and go get this game.
Yeah, I think if they make all the adjustments that they need to make, I think this is a winnable game. They can get back to 500, and they can feel really good getting Rasheed Rice back and getting him back into the offense. Alrighty, guys, that's going to be it for us tonight. We appreciate everybody who's tuned in. I think we're going to see another great game, so let's hope they can get out of here with the win. So until next time, guys, go Chiefs.
How about those Chiefs, baby?